Welcome back to the IPL Killing Spree. This is game 2 we're coming up to here. CLG versus Goose. CLG, man, 3 team fights, and that happens.
Yeah, it was really just such, it was over so quickly for Goose.
Yeah.
And they, played a really fantastic game. There were a lot of moments where, you thought they were close to taking control. They were right on the kind of fringe of it. And then once it turned, really that Baron steal was huge for CLG. And then it was the Baron steal, and then they got 4 for 1, and then turned
it was just all downhill from there.
Yeah,
and a lot of really good early team fights also. Lee Sin and Swain in mid. I got a little excited. I got a little bit too excited. So like, someone die, please, come on, just someone make that last hit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is still entertaining. I'm not disappointed by this today.
Well, to remind you guys, this is the IGN Pro League. Yep. I am the Red Baron. This is HatPerson. You can follow me Twitter at BaronCast. You
can follow me on Twitter at HatPerson. And also, if you want to keep up with anything happening here at the IPL, just follow us on Twitter at IGN Pro League. So I think we are ready to go with game 2. Everyone here is in the room.
So just a reminder, this is our new Killing Spree series. It is a King of the Hill series, so it's $300 per match, best of 3. And then the best part, if you get 3 wins, you're on a killing spree. You start getting $100 bonus, $400 for each game, and then you build up a bounty. So, whoever can take down that killing spree, if it does go to that, we'll be able to take that.
So we are starting pick bans right now. So Goose did lose the first game, so they had option of first or last pick. They decided to go with the first once more.
Yeah, and it should be interesting to see whether or not they're looking to change anything. We see right off the bat.
Yeah, Maokai gone already.
It's going to be that Maokai still. But I'm wondering if they might change up and not ban Graves. I know the reason they didn't want to Graves in the game is because of that passive. They were planning on running that Leona Jarvan lane, which is, it's a heavy physical damage lane, and Graves just has so much armor. That it really kind of counters that lane, particularly if you give him someone like Sona or Soraka with those heals.
Right.
So, I recognize the reason, but I don't know how much Doublelift plays Graves, and I don't know if they gave him Graves that it would be, as big of an issue as maybe banning out someone else like Ryze.
We are seeing a exact mirror of bans as we saw first game. Maokai, Karthus, and Rammus already. So let's see if we get another Morgana ban here from CLG. Yes, there it is. There it is.
And I think both teams, generally pretty happy with how the game went. It was a really exciting match.
It was. It was really exciting.
Goose had their opportunities.
They did.
They put themselves into a game, and they recognized, they had the opportunity to win. We actually see them changing up. And
yeah, Goose is banning Shaco on their own. Huh.
And so I don't know how much Saintvicious plays Shaco, but it's hard to say. I'm not sure that I would be concerned about the ganks from Shaco as much as I would from someone else. And Goose still does have that first pick, but I guess they didn't want to take the Shaco themselves. They didn't want CLG to be able to have that Shaco.
Right. CLG Skarner for their last ban. So now we have a very anti-jungle heavy.
Why didn't we see a Skarner last game? I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
That's kind of strange.
Okay, so we got Graves first pick now,
and that's actually a great decision.
That is.
You're not wasting a ban on Graves, but Graves, very strong DPS in his own right. He's the man. He's the man in black. I love Graves.
Why didn't we not see Skarner first game? Huh. Well, to each his own, as they say. So we're hovering over Kennen here, over on CLG's side, still trying to decide. But
CLG has played a lot of Kennen.
Right. I'm also interested to see if they're going to take another early Sona pick this time around.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's go quick overview. So who's really good in lane against Graves?
There we go, Ryze.
Oh, Ryze. Here we go again.
Really just any of the... Graves isn't, unstoppable in lane. He's a pretty average DPSer. I do really love the fact that CLG is running the double AP. Ryze can go top lane very easily. So can Kennen. They can switch around there, but they're both very strong laners. Getting back to Graves, Vayne would probably be a pretty good matchup still. We might see Doublelift's Vayne. He plays Vayne all the time. Doublelift, really known for being an excellent farmer. He sometimes was known to get a little bit too close as a ranged DPS, but with his team, as long as he can keep that distance, he'll be fine, and he will have the damage output to deal with the Graves.
Right, so Goose is going to pick up Janna and Lee Sin. I like Janna. I think Janna complements Graves pretty well.
Well, yeah, and Janna, as a support, she is a physical DPS support. She's got the shield.
Right.
She has plenty of disables, yeah. So the really key there, though, is if they do have a Vayne, it's going to be Vayne Sona, and that's a heal versus Janna.
Oh, we got CuRtoKy.
Wow.
Ooh.
Actually, haven't seen CuRtoKy in a while. But
CuRtoKy kind of fell out of style since the end of the season 1, I believe.
But, he's still a pretty strong champion.
Oh, yeah.
He was nerfed a little bit a while back. One of the interesting things here is he's got a nice mix of physical and magic. If you can nuke Graves off of that line, CuRtoKy has fantastic early game nukes. He's really an early game DPSer. If you can get Graves off that front line, once Graves is low, Janna doesn't have any heals. No. And Graves isn't going to be able to sit there in lane. It's really going to put a lot of pressure on him. He's not going to be able to get that passive since he needs those auto attacks. Sona with her heal is going to help accommodate that. But I'm curious what they're going to look to do to fight this early game team of CLG. And they do have a really strong team. Right now, it's looking like Veigar and TF.
See, we were going previously from a very melee heavy, so now we're to a very ranged heavy.
Yeah.
Huh. Just a nice huge flip-flop all the way over to the other end of the spectrum.
But at the same time, we did see a very coordinated team from Goose that last game. Right. They were really gank heavy, and that's the big thing. They, were doing an excellent job of warding in CLG's jungle and just running around as a team. Well, hey, guess what? You've got Cassidy now with those blinks. You've got TF with that ultimate. Those are two fantastic gankers, to go along with the Lee Sin.
So you think we're going to see a more passive game from Goose this time around?
Oh, no way. I mean, they're going to be passive for a little bit, but... I think that we're going to see them start moving around as a team. They're going to take control of the lanes, but we're going to see really active gameplay. Okay. I mean, they're going to be giving the blue buff to Cassidy. That's going to be a big key for CLG.
Blue buff on Cassidy is just... Ugh.
And that's
I hate fighting against that.
That's going to be really their biggest struggle, is whether or not they can prevent Cassidy from getting that blue buff.
Right. All right, it looks like a last pick on CLG will be Gangplank. So your teams for game number 2, Goose has got Graves, Janna, Lee Sin, TF, and Cassidy. CLG running Kennen, Ryze, CuRtoKy, Gangplank, Sona.
Yeah, I think the real struggle for Goose is going to be getting this TF involved in the game.
Actually, both teams are actually somewhat very range heavy. Period.
It's a pretty interesting team, but Cassidy and TF are both mid champions. I mean, that's really what they are. Atlanta right now with the Smite.
Jungle TF? What?
I'm not sure whether to be expecting this or not.
Have you ever seen this before?
I haven't, but I think it's potential. It fixes their biggest issue, which is the fact that they have 2 solos. They need 2 solo mids.
Yeah.
They need one of them to not be mid, and this would solve it. He does have plenty of AoE damage. He has the procs from his E ability. Every 3 attacks, he's going to get a little bit of a crit. So that is going to help him clear the creeps very quickly. If he gets that early blue, just spamming those cards into the creeps, that's really going to help him out a lot.
And remember, we are on Volibear patch, so this is new jungle.
Yeah. And the range stun on a gank can't be underestimated.
Right.
Gangplank really going to take advantage of his jungling speed versus TF. He is going to have a much easier time in the jungle, so he's going to want to be looking to do lots of counter jungling. But if TF can get in on those ganks, then he could potentially do that. The only issue is TF as a jungler is really going to need this blue buff, and Cassidy is not going to want to give it up.
Yeah, that's kind of the big fight. Is like. It's like 2 kids on Christmas morning. You give them a present they're supposed to share. Like mom comes down. It's like I got you guys a video game, and they're both fighting over. It's like I'm gonna play with it. I imagine something like that.
It's also kind of hard to imagine what lanes Goose is going to be looking to gank.
Yeah.
Bot lane, you've got Sona and CuRtoKy. CuRtoKy has the cleanse, and then he's got his Valkyrie.
Kennen
has the ultimate with the heal.
Sona has the ultimate. Kennen can run away.
Right. Kennen can just run away, throw off those disables. Both Kennen and Ryze are pretty early game champions. They that might allow them to take control of that blue pretty quickly. So I don't know. It really could be anyone's game, but I think the early game advantage for CLG may prove to be fatal. Though we do have a ton of gank potential from Goose, and that really can't be underestimated.
I also want to note that the two champions which were banned last round, but not this round, have both been taken, Graves and Kennen.
Yeah.
Who, yeah, I'm still surprised about Skarner last game too. I can't believe no one picked Skarner.
Goose, they banned Graves, and now they've taken him, and
right.
CLG banned Kennen, and
now they got him. Yeah.
So clearly, they didn't want the enemy team to have him. I don't know if they would have taken them normally, or if it's because they were trying to deny that pick.
Right. So it's oh, man, I'm still trying to figure out Twisted Fate jungle.
Though again, the more and more I think about it, Twisted Fate's going to be interesting. It's going to be some really nasty ganks, but where's their dragon control? I mean,
Ooh.
You've got Janna. Janna is particularly strong against dragon, but unless Lee Sin isn't going to be coming down from this top lane, is TF going to tank dragon? I don't think so.
I hope not.
So
maybe Janna can do it. It's no problem.
If CLG gets an early dragon and then starts going like 3 dragons in a row, 3-0 in those dragons, very quickly this game could just fall into their favor.
How much gold? 3 grand?
Oh yeah,
3 grand gold. Yeah, that's never a good situation to be in.
The XP as well. They do have a really strong early game team.
Yeah, they do. So we are a few seconds away until we are ready to get in. Our 3-minute delay is almost over. So everybody get ready. Game number 2, Team Goose versus CLG. Welcome back to IPL Killing Spree. We have game 2 now, Team Goose versus CLG. So why do you think Graves and Kennen were banned last game?
Well, I mean, again, Goose was looking to do that Leona Jarvan combo.
Right.
Graves is particularly strong against that with the armor. And then Kennen, really strong early game, and then really strong in lane. So, they didn't want to allow Goose to get those strong laners mid. We saw 3 casters, 3 solo mid champions that were banned by CLG.
Right.
So we do have the game starting. Should be interesting. Janna actually calling for a remake.
we need a remake. I forgot my skin. I left it at home. It's on the counter in my purse. I can't believe I left it. I feel like such an idiot.
Oven on, kitchen on fire.
Kitchen. It happens.
Dog ate my home.
I will say this much though. I think this is the first time I've ever actually seen the PAX TF skin.
Oh, that's right.
That is a nice little rarity.
You don't see a lot of TF.
You don't see a lot of TF, let alone in the PAX skin. That's a really... How much is it? I think it goes for at least like 100 on eBay, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So we also got to see very similar openings as we did last game. Both teams opting to go on the defensive end. Nothing wrong with that.
But is TF going to get this red buff?
Ooh.
That would be a scary prospect.
Yeah.
Not only does TF have a range stun, but to be chasing people down with the red buff early in this game.
Screw blue buff. We got red with TF. Man.
I'm a little bit surprised that he doesn't need the early blue buff so he can spam those abilities, because that's what I would think of as TF as a jungler. You need to just be constantly spamming those abilities.
Oh, we got nice. CuRtoKy and Sona are being a little bit aggressive here, going in that tri bush down by bot lane.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think they're trying to catch TF maybe entering lane as soon as he's.
Well, I would think if they want to see if they're coming for red. Maybe Janna and Graves move over.
While we're going
we actually
over
have
golems.
them coming over to see if they're taking the golems.
I think they saw them. I'm pretty sure Goose saw them.
And blue mini golems is really just fantastic for your team, so they want to deny that if they can.
Right. But I don't think they will get the opportunity. So Graves is going to go ahead and unleash that red. And see how quickly Atlanta can take this out. An early smite. There we go. Okay. So now we're cooking with gas. TF's got red. We'll see what he can do with it. Really interested to see this. I've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, and it's interesting to me. Gangplank went with that Vampiric Scepter. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he's jungling against a TF. Vampiric Scepter will allow him to just constantly jungle.
Here we go. TF's coming down.
He's in that top bush. There's the stun.
Pick a card. Get that card. Stun on the CuRtoKy. We're going to get a whole bunch of damage. Flashes away just in time. Wow. That had potential. But you know what? We have a burn flash. Force the potion. Do we force? We forced the heal also. Forced heal and flash. That's a good gank to me.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Which for the record, anyone out there, if you're a jungler and if you make an attempt on lane, if they use a summoner spell, that is a successful gank, no matter how you write it.
Yeah, and Gangplank, you know, he as I was about to say, he does know that he's going up against a weak jungler, so he wants to stay in jungle as long as possible and potentially get a lot of counter jungling done. So maybe he would go Cloth Armor or something against a stronger jungler. But, you know, with the jungle changes, Gangplank can jungle very easily with that Vampiric Scepter. You see he does have his red here. Top pretty even. Bot is at a slight disadvantage because of that early gank, but they are pushed up against their tower, and that's really going to help them farm.
It's just really unfortunate that TF did not get that kill, because now he's already a little bit behind Gangplank, and Gangplank is just about to finish his first run through the jungle.
And I think that's going to be an interesting thing to watch, is TF is such an aggressive ganker, but he's not, you know, clearly not the strongest jungler.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't get involved in this game, doesn't get that early level 6, that could really hurt him. Gangplank actually coming up top. He's got his red buff. I'm surprised he hasn't gone in yet. He's waiting for Kennen to try and get that stun. We do have him coming off. The Q is down. He's chasing. There's the flash, but he's still chasing with his red buff.
He'll get away just barely.
Wow. And that exhaust just preventing all that physical damage.
Good
but we
call.
saw TF just getting so low. Is he going to die to those?
Don't die to
Oh my
Rinse! Don't die to Rinse! Please, don't do that! That's the last thing we want to see.
And see, that's the thing. He's only level 3, and he struggles killing.
That is rough. I really, man, I want.
Oh,
here we go. We got
jumping in on this Kassadin, and he does get the Q off. So Rise not going to be able to get off that snare, but Kassadin is going to back up, and Rise is going to take an early advantage here. He's going to push this to the tower, and look at all these creeps that Kassadin's going to miss out on.
So let's compare a gank. So we had the TF gank on bot, which burned 2 summoner spells. We had a GP gank on top and mid, which has forced 2 champions to back.
Yeah.
Well, while burning summoner spells is good, forcing someone out of lane is better.
And at the same time, it was they forced the summoner spells at like 2 minutes in the game.
Oh yeah.
So it was really good. It had a lot of potential on CuRtoKy. You know, made him play a little bit passive for a second, but because in those early levels you're going to get so much regen from leveling up, and just the fact that all those summoners are almost up. CuRtoKy's got about, you know, another 30 seconds to a minute. TF flashing in on top of this Sona. Graves very close to going down. If CuRtoKy's going to turn into him, he's actually Valkyrying out of there. Sona just still running away. Can he get the slow? There's the slow from Sona. The stuns, and there goes.
Barely.
Oh, that's
right in range. I am surprised that Graves actually did go down.
Oh my gosh, Graves! The shield. Oh,
that
CuRtoKy.
shield. That shield.
Oh, CuRtoKy, your shield.
So yeah, TF grabs that first blood.
What was Graves even doing? He was like just hanging out.
No, it's not. Graves was getting in that pursuit on Sona, but CuRtoKy was just more than content just to stand there and just keep pulling away at Graves, because they know what their focus is. TF's going again. He's picking that card, but yeah,
Kassadin not level 6 yet. So you know, it's nice to make the lanes play defensively, but at the same time, TF needs to jungle some. He is level 4, so that's, you know, a nice little bonus.
He's got that first.
He's a little bit
got that
behind.
gold bonus. But yeah, I think
Saint's actually level 4 too.
I think CuRtoKy was just more than content to just keep plugging away at Graves, because it's very clear where the focus is.
This is what I'm curious about. Can he take it?
Oh, can he take it? Can he do it? Is Smite up? Smite is down.
He
Come on,
needs
Atlanta.
to get it this
oh no!
way.
Oh, he's just catch him! Get it before he dies. Thank you. Thank you. Keep that goose flying.
Yeah.
You got to keep that goose flying.
And the blue buff on Kassadin, you know, it really is going to help their team a lot.
Especially, you know, now that he's 6, especially now that he has his blink.
But at the same time, you know, TF's level 4, and he's still going to struggle with these creeps for a little bit of time. We do see he's going a Doran's build, so he's actually going for a more DPS. You do usually see AP TF. You know, he can be played DPS as well, especially since they just changed the range on TF's attacks, so that'll definitely help him out.
So we're seeing the same thing we saw last game with Goose, you know, triple AD.
Oh my gosh, Kennen
just
with the ignite.
Goes
oh
right
my
down.
gosh, but is he
Tower.
gonna get the kill?
Oh, how low is that Kennen?
Got down a little under 100.
Yeah.
I was
that was a good call by Kennen, getting in that ult right under the tower, just enough damage.
I don't think Hotshot expected him to get anywhere near that.
I think you're right. I was like, wait a minute, I'm killing him? Oh, gee, I gotta keep going. So Gangplank is taking over mid at the interim. Bot lane is still duking it out. Let's see, let's take a look at the creep score. Yeah, CuRtoKy is a good bit ahead, but looks like CuRtoKy actually hasn't backed yet.
And this kind of exactly what I wanted to see. They know that this blue buff is up. Rise doesn't have it yet. They know they're going to give it to Rise. So we do have the red buff
they're just
and then
waiting
the
on
blue buff.
Gangplank. They're just waiting on Gangplank to come around.
They figure he's going to be walking to blue. One of them's going to be walking to blue.
Look at this timing. Look at this timing.
Are they going to see him? They didn't see them.
Gangplank is going to come. I think Gangplank's going to come around and notice that something is amiss.
Oh, Gangplank.
There he is.
Gangplank's going down.
Picks a color. Gets Gangplank with the stun. Cass is trying to get as much damage as he can. Rift Walk. Gets to slow down, and I think he may finish it, but Gangplank does get to go down. TF might just do it.
Cass taking a ton of damage.
Janna comes in with that shield, just keeps him alive for a little bit longer. Cassin blinks away. Janna ults, but Cassin doesn't get the heal from that.
But Cassidon barely flashing out of there. I mean,
how low? How low is that
Cassidon?
Cassidon?
As close as it could be.
How low can you go?
He's at 50 now, so he was probably around 20.
2 for 1. Yeah, that's really good in Goose's favor.
Yeah. And I was about to say, you know, they did a fantastic job knowing the blue buff was up, so they did steal the blue buff as well. But Cass didn't get the blue buff. I don't.
Cass, let's see.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
But anyway, getting that blue buff, keeping it off Rise, that's a really good job. But we might see, you know, some more aggressive ganks bottom. I'm not sure that they have the killing potential on bottom. You know, it's very close. But if they can push bottom out of lane, then they're going to have a free dragon. Even with TF, who's, you know, clearly not the strongest jungler, Graves can just sit there and tank it with the Janna shield. I mean, you know, with the Janna shield, you're not going to take any damage, so.
There you go. So we were just about to hit the 10-minute mark. Gold is still pretty even, similar to last game.
But Goose is ahead.
Goose is ahead. Just, if anything, by a small margin, but they do have their map control going. They took their blue. Got a nice little invade going on before then, and we're still waiting for the first dragon attempt. And it looks, you know, top lane is also very content just duking it out. Kennen did get the kill earlier.
And it's really disorienting to me. I was just looking bottom, and this whole time you kind of think, oh yeah, bot lane's been winning. They've been doing a really good job. Well, look at the CS. Corki with a huge advantage in that lane. Graves coming up. TF with the ult on top of Rise. They get some damage. Cass is going to die. Can they get the kill?
Rise flashed away! Atlanta!
Oh, he's going to go down.
To the tower. That's unfortunate. That is real unfortunate. 39 health.
That's a shame.
Wow.
And TF is very good at, you know, ganks under the tower, but Rise just a little bit too tanky, has that sustained damage.
And he had that flash up.
And the Gangplank. You know, the Gangplank ultimate helped them finish them off.
Yeah. Wow. That is very unfortunate for Goose. So, top lane, Gangplank is going to make another attempt here on Lee Sin, but top lane is warded. Top lane is warded, so Lee Sin is aware. You know, playing it defensively, going back to tower for now. Gangplank's just going to go ahead and back. Bot lane, looks like Janna and Graves are keeping things quite under control. I believe there's a reward.
Look at all that damage.
Wow, that's a lot of damage coming from Corki.
Corki does have that red buff, so if they sit back for a second, Sona will have those heals, and that'll help them get back into this lane.
Janna actually ended up burning her heal in that nice little fight there. So I think one-on-one, straight up, I think Corki's going to be winning against Graves right now. But
and they do have the heal from Sona still, so that is an advantage.
It's heal from Sona, ult on both supports.
Oh my gosh, Janna
just walked in.
She knew it was there, though.
Yeah, she knew. She knew.
Wanted to get some damage, see if she could give Graves an opportunity to get that kill. He is going to get out of there.
And Graves did burn the ult.
And we did have the heal from Sona.
Yes, we did.
Corki did get pretty low.
Right, so heals are now burned on both sides, bot lane. Mid lane, Rise is just still content farming away with that blue buff. How much blue buff is about halfway done. And it looks like Cassidon is going to be going ahead. Oh, wait, are we just going to...
actually coming up top, and they don't have a ward top.
Blue buff is up for Goose, so we might just give it once more to Cassidon.
Yep.
It's a great call, good standard call.
Kennen backing out. He know he doesn't have a ward, so he's probably going to pick one up there. A little bit surprised we haven't seen a little bit more action bottom. Like we've been at the point in the game where you're really going to want to start looking for Dragon, and neither team has pressured it. And I think that CLG definitely has an advantage as far as Dragon is concerned, but they still haven't gone for it, and that's a little bit surprising to me. It is starting to get more and more into a point in time where Goose, they can do Dragon now. There was a serious point in time where they couldn't.
And also, like we got some decent ward coverage from both teams. I like the ward from CLG in that will try Bush bot lane because they know they want to. I think it puts out there that they want to be a little bit more aggressive. They want to watch for TF to make sure that he doesn't get the jump on them.
Though it is interesting, TF's ultimate, it you know, does have enough range that ward doesn't really mean much, and that's one of the benefits to TF is you can gank anywhere.
But like the teleport ults, you know, you got your TF, you got your Pantheon. There's a very clear notifications like, "Hey guys, look at me, I'm on my way." It's, you know, they have a little bit of warning there, but CLG will go ahead, and that's actually, they're making an attempt on Dragon. Atlanta knows TF's got a stun card ready to go, but it's not going to do much. Gangplank ults to try and slow him down. We may actually pick up TF. Gets away.
Yeah, but that, I mean, that is a gold advantage, and that's one thing we expected coming into this game. CLG would have an easy time with Dragon. I'm a little bit surprised it took them this long to get the first one.
Yeah.
Considering they had 2 dragons by now last game.
They did. Dragon, Dragon last game was a very hot place to be, but this time around, just not so much. Not so much.
Kassadin does have that blue buff, but taking a little bit of damage.
Yeah.
You know, if he gets his silence off, he's going to be okay, but he really can't trade damage with Rise. That's not his goal here.
No.
He's looking to farm and then probably leave lane and, you know, get some ganks. He really hasn't been that involved in the game so far.
Right. He's just been more or less just sticking to mid lane, sticking to what he does. TF, on the other hand, not as... I'm still undecided about TF's play so far, but bot lane has gone down. Goose will get the first tower. And Kennen being forced back, Gangplank coming up top to replace him.
And that's something we saw last game as well. Goose doing an excellent job pressuring the towers. Let's look at these towers. These towers on Goose's side, all almost full health, whereas bot lane's down. Actually, mid and top are still full health.
We had some pings going on over at CLG's blue. You know, they knew it. I'm pretty sure they knew it happened, but they couldn't really make anything happen with that. So Rise will go ahead and hold on to that. Kennen is
we do have
top
something
also.
of a farm advantage as far as, you know, just gold. So CLG a little bit ahead. CuRtoKy's been doing particularly well for himself. Kassadin, you know, keeping up. So is Lee Sin. You know, Graves also doing it. It's actually a pretty even game so far. 1k gold advantage for CLG. That's that dragon.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also looking at the build here over for Goose. Like, I'm kind of reminded, like, you know, why can't I hold all these Doran's blades?
Yeah,
that's a lot of Doran's blades. I'm pretty sure they had a sale or something.
Yeah, and Kennen, he does have that revolver against Lee Sin. Lee Sin does have a lot of damage. That physical damage does go to his abilities. Kennen has Will of the Ancients. Will of the Ancients, since they have the double AP, is going to be particularly effective.
Oh, yeah.
But I'd like to see, you know, a little bit stronger of an item for the next one from Kennen. You know, he needs a little bit of AP. Lee Sin jumping in, you know,
just for a little bit of harassment there, just to annoy him.
But I would probably expect to see maybe a Rabadon's, you know, since they do know that they're going to want to be aggressive in this early game, and allowing Kennen to just jump into the middle of the team, you know, get his damage off. That's what Rabadon's is all about.
And the Castle,
oh wow!
Blinks right out of the Sona ult just in time. That could have spelled absolute doom for him right there, but he just gets away. And I bet right in the nick of time.
I have to imagine they're yelling at each other right now because I didn't think they were going to do that much damage. I don't think Sona thought they were going to do that much.
I don't think anyone knew. I don't think anyone knew. It was like, why is he so squishy? I had no idea. So now
man,
Kennen's getting in there with the ult. Lee Sin knew. Lee Sin, that river was warded.
But there's the TF ult, and Lee Sin's pretty high still. He flashes out. He's got the ignite. He will go down. TF not really going to accomplish anything. They're trying to get his ally out.
Ulted into the Gangplank ult, which, you know, he's going to be popping into that battle pre-slowed.
Oh, but Kennen's going to be chasing.
Oh, we're jumping in after him.
We have the pistol, and he's going to go down. There's no way he's getting.
Oh, just barely can get that parlay. Parlay!
There it is. Woo! But then in the meantime, Rise actually being picked up in the river. Kassadin, can he get out of there? The ultimate from Janna. Perfect.
He already burned his. Kassadin burned his flash.
Oh, another flash, just barely in time. Janna's going to go down, but you know what?
Sona gets. Yeah.
Janna saved Kassadin and saved that blue buff. So. It's a pretty even trade for Janna, but they are probably going to get this mid. They're going for the blue buff.
Yeah.
So Kassadin did steal Rise's blue buff. Rise was just walking through the jungle.
Yep, and now we're gonna go ahead and steal blue buff back. But see that's what I like to call a dive.
Yep.
They dove and got 3 for. It was 3 for that, right?
Yeah, it was about 3 kills.
Yeah. Lee Sin, TF, followed by Janna. Who died on CLG? I don't recall.
They lost Rise.
They lost Rise.
So definitely not an even trade there, but you know the Rise, it did help.
Right? Yes, absolutely, absolutely. It helps, you know, kind of take back some of the advantage there.
And one of the interesting things here is we're seeing from all these champions the versatility of their builds.
Right.
CuRtoKy as a champion, you know, he's a nuker, but he's also a DPS carry. So oftentimes you'll see like a Manamune or you'll see Triforce for that early game nuking capability. Well, you know, Doublelift decided to go for Infinity Edge, and so he's going to be dealing tons of DPS damage to go along. Since they already have the 2 AP, he knew he didn't need the burst, he needed sustained damage.
Meanwhile, on Team Goose, we have a vintage knife collection.
Right.
Bringing it down to get appraised. But looks like Lee Sin has a BF sword. I wonder what that's going to go into. Possibly an Infinity Edge, I'm thinking. Or maybe even a Black Cleaver, who knows? So,
yeah, I'm guessing that it's maybe a Bloodthirster or a Black Cleaver. I would expect it's going to be a Bloodthirster since he does benefit from just pure AD. That's what Bloodthirster is all about.
Oh yeah. Well, provided you can stay alive enough to keep the stacks.
TF chasing after Sona, the flash with the ultimate at the same time, and Gangplank is going to pick up this TF along with Rise. CuRtoKy actually coming in for that kill. He's got the red buff now. TF had the red buff, and now they're going to chase after Graves.
Graves having a lot of trouble getting away, but you know what? It's just not going to happen.
And Rise, in the meantime, is he going to be able to pick up this kill onto Cassidy? It's so close.
He's
just
slow.
one more Overlord.
Don't die by Wraiths. We've already had this problem before.
Yeah.
No more dying to Wraith. We didn't even die to Wraiths before. I just don't even want the consideration. Can we? I wonder if Gangplank knew Cassidy was there, he'd probably just run up, parlay him, and kill him.
Oh, Cassidy had his ultimate. I mean, there's no way that he would have gotten it. But they.
But then again, we did have that with Tryndamere last game.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
We do have the Dragon though, and you know, once again, we have a 3K gold advantage. This is going to turn into a 4K gold advantage. A little bit of XP. CLG, you know, they're hitting their peak here. They do have a fairly early game team, though they will sustain into late game. Both Gangplank and CuRtoKy particularly strong late game. Gangplank's, you know, passive force team that raise morale is just going to, you know, be a boon to all of them.
Yeah. I think you called it earlier. You said 3 dragons before, right?
Yeah,
we're 2. We're almost there. We may actually have it. So right now, Kennen is just laying that harass down on Lee Sin top lane. Bot looks like Graves and Cassidy are trying to recover at this point, I believe.
And they do recognize, you know, they're only 5K behind. I mean, that is a significant amount at this point in time.
Oh, yes.
But they do recognize that Kennen, you know, he's going to be about his strongest now, but then he's going to start falling off if they can get some gold. We actually have the ultimate from Kennen onto... Oh, this is terrible.
Coming in.
TF with
the card ready.
They're going to be jumping on top of this, and Lee Sin is going to be able to pick up this kill. It's actually TF after the karate chop. What is it? The dragon kick?
Just dragon kicked... He dragon kicked Kennen just right into a fresh card from TF. I love... See, Lee Sin's dragon kick is actually like one of my favorite moves in the game. I still remember I was playing once with... wow. What happened there? Missed that completely.
This is going to be tough for Janet to get out. We do have the slow. She did hit the slow, and oh, there's the perfect ultimate. Those missiles. But in the meantime, we have Gangplank and Sona chasing him down. They're going to pick up this TF kill first because they recognize Lee Sin is way behind them. So there's the TF kill, and here's Lee Sin. Can they get him down? Gangplank hardly taking any damage from this tower.
Nothing.
But wait a second, Lee Sin's still alive, and can he go down? Just barely living. That heal from Sona just barely enough because it does give the armor bonus as well.
Now we've gotten to the point where CLG can just stay under your own towers and just plug away. I don't know. It's looking grim. It's looking pretty grim at this point.
Yeah, and this is about the point when I would expect CLG to start pushing down towers. That's one of the things that Gangplank as a jungler is particularly strong at. With the raise morale, you can just drop towers so quickly and then get CuRtoKy on those towers. Here we have mid. They could probably just, you know, sit in the lane and push it down. Though, at the same time, if they do that and Goose is able to stall, they could maybe stall themselves back into the game.
Yep. So right now, best option for Goose, stall.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. And let's see. We have wards going down also in Baron area as well.
And we have oracles from both Janna and Sona. So, you know, really necessary at this point in the game. You know, you need that map control.
I was realizing also, we'll get Cassidy is actually really behind item-wise. Just Source Boots, Rod of Ages, Blaster, man.
And it's really the result of not a lot of ganks for Cassidy. I mean, Kassadin as a champion, you want to farm on any champion, clearly.
Right.
But he's not the best farmer in the game. So we only see 128 CS 23 minutes into the game. What Kassadin really wants to do, get some quick items, get that blue buff, and then roam and just, try and pick up kills in bot lane, in top lane, help your team with securing Dragon.
I think Gangplank pretty much, as long as Gangplank is with the team, CLG pretty much has free reign where we go. Lee Sin.
Where are you going?
Getting sandwiched. That's what's happening.
And here we have an excellent job here. They're trading off of the damage, but they're actually not going to go for it.
No.
So just going to push down this tower. We do have them all grouped up. The tower's almost dead.
We might as well just go up, just give it a few smacks and be done with it. But all of Goose is now starting to converge. Rise is getting caught a little bit. He's getting some damage on him, but nothing to write home about. And then we're just going to go ahead and see if we can't start intercepting people. Kassadin is kind of out of position here. Just watching that tower fall from afar.
Yeah, and it's a war of attrition right now. CLG's really just going to be looking to wear them down, slowly push those towers, and not allow them to get this far.
CLG has free reign now on whatever they want, as long as Gangplank is in a very close vicinity. So they can just go ahead and run up, take towers. It's fine. You can go ahead and attack us. I got oranges. It's okay. So right now we are almost we're 24-minute mark, 5-13.
Yeah,
it's crazy what the good team fighter 2 will do.
8K gold advantage for CLG. Just let that sift in for a second.
Yeah, that is a very, very significant margin. Look at how built is Gangplank's Warmogs right now. I'm sure it's got to be maxed. Is it maxed? No, that's actually not. It's actually a fresh. That's a pretty recent purchase, actually. He is going for the Atmogs. He's going for the Atmogs.
We would like to remind everyone, this is Volibear patch, so Warmogs hasn't been nerfed yet. It is still very strong as an item, particularly if you're going to be getting a lot of farm, and he's planning on tanking for his team. So. Oh
yeah. Because with actually both of these teams, neither one really has tank.
CuRtoKy with the Valkyrie. He's chasing after Janna. Janna throws off the heal. There's the ultimate Gangplank. Flashing away, just barely able to get out of there. Got down pretty low. That was pretty. That's sometimes warding can be risky. Warding can be risky sometimes. It may not even be worth it. And here's the hard thing for Goose right now. Their team, it's very much designed to pick people off. TF, you want to use that ultimate, pick people off. Kassadin, you want to use that ultimate to pick people off. Well, CLG's just going to run around as a team now. So how are you going to get involved in the game? We do have TF seeing that they're going for Baron. Maybe they can seal it, but CLG's dropping this very quickly. TF goes in from behind Baron. And there it is. Yeah. Can they get out, though? CuRtoKy's going to be chasing after him. CuRtoKy doesn't have a slow, but he's still going to be doing plenty of damage to this Lee Sin and Graves. They both flash out of there, so they're going to get out. But then Janna almost going down. She is going to be able to get out of there as long as she doesn't hit the snare. The flash from Rise is going to be able to pick out Janna from underneath that tower. And there goes that Oracle's. Once again, just piling it on. They do have the Baron. They're probably going to just push down, maybe even take an inhibitor at this point. It was a good money proc on Shiralia's from Sona, just to get that extra chase right when they needed it. Otherwise, he would have lost vision. He probably wouldn't have even got that kill. Yep. Very good call on Sona, just proc it at the right moment. And we got a good 10 seconds until Janna comes back up. We can take this inhib easy. I forget. Let's let Gangplank take the whole turret. Oh wow! TF. This is going to be trying to do something. This should be we're expecting GG any second at this point. We're going to take the inhib. Here's the inhibitor. They're going to push down the Nexus turrets. If there's no surrender, then it's coming. Yep. 12. CLG actually backing off. I'm a little bit surprised. Yeah, we could be pushing to win here from CLG, but I guess at the same time they recognize they basically have this game under wraps right now. Yeah. So be patient. Don't risk anything. They're going to get this free dragon. Yep. Push it even more into their advantage. See, this is the classic move when you're ahead in StarCraft. The same thing goes for all. When you're ahead, what do? You get more ahead. Yeah. Take that dragon. Keep on going out of that gold advantage. Take all these towers. You have Baron. You can do whatever the hell you want. You got a Gangplank with how much health? Over 3k health? Yeah, sure. You can take that tower, no problem. This is just. And Baron buff is almost, it's not even halfway done yet, it's almost there. There's still much more pillaging that CLG can do right now. And it all really started because of the early game advantage of CLG. I mean, they were able to put on some pressure. Wow, blowing up that TF just melted. Ouch. But they were able to put on some pressure, TF and Kassadin, a little bit active, but really not able to get as involved into the game as they wanted to.
Yeah.
And then those successive dragons, you know, just building up a huge gold lead, and they were able to push it for a win.
Yep, and Goose is calling out GG. They realize it's pretty much over at this point, so we're just going to go ahead, play cleanup. Man, I really wanted that TF jungle to work. I really did. I love odd jungle picks like that. I really wanted something to happen.
It worked enough. I mean, you know, it clearly didn't work because they weren't able to pull out the win.
Yep.
It did result in a loss of Dragon. TF not able to, you know, accomplish much there. But at the same time, the ganks were pretty aggressive.
Yep.
You can't really ward against the TF gank, but that's also why you kind of put TF in a lane usually. But the range stun, you know, it did work out for them as far as, you know, it goes. The range stun on the ganks is particularly effective, and you know, that level 1, they almost picked the quirky kill, and you know, that really could have changed the game if they were able to get the first blood.
Could have. They could have.
They did get the first blood a little bit later, though.
They did. That they did. But you know, I think just, you know, more effective ganks from Gangplank, and you know, the CLG also had a semi designated tank.
Yeah.
He got the Atmog. Well, did he finish off the Atmog's combo? Yeah, he just did.
Yep.
He did right at the end. Or he finished.
He had to go back to base.
He had to go back in base and get it after. Yeah.
That's always the pro key. Is when the game's already over, you go back to base to finish your items, so you look really good in the match history.
I always do that if I lose terribly. It's like, oh, I got this item. I definitely got it. But
it is interesting. I mean, they did have a very gank oriented team. No one building tank, like you said. Lee Sin. He could be that similar kind of physical tank. He could have gone with the Atmog's build. He went with pure DPS for the, you know, single target damage, and they weren't really able to get people picked off. CLG doing an excellent job of keeping controlled, keeping together as a team, and really all of their lanes were pretty strong to you know, to gank regardless. They did have the Kennen, they did have the Rise, and then, you know, bot lane with the cleanse and the heal. I mean, you know, where are your ganks going to come in?
Yeah. So let's take a look at some of these ganks. First up, we have Goose going into CLG's jungle for the blue steal. Gangplank is at the Wolf's camp. He has no idea that Goose is in the jungle. They're actually going to get around just barely out of sight into the bush to go around to blue. Gangplank has no idea whatsoever. He's going to walk into that bush. He's going to find out something's amiss, and then we got to try and make the best of it. He's not going to be able to get away. He gets the blue. He does steal the blue, but Kassadin's just going to go ahead, pursue, finish him off. At this point, TF is out of position. He will fall a quirky coming in, but in the end, it's a 2-for-1 and a stolen blue buff. That's pretty good. On the other hand, we do have this failed gank mid. Goose is being really aggressive with this game, and it kind of backfires. Kassadin starts tanking towers, and then gets snared by Rise under tower. Eventually, both of them do fall. Rise gets away with under 30 health. So I think that just about finishes it up for today. Your winner today is CounterLogic Gaming, so they have won themselves $300 and the privilege to come back again next week.
Yeah, it should be pretty exciting. Once again, I'm the Red Baron.
I'm HatPerson. You can always follow us on Twitter. He's at BaronCast. I'm at HatPerson. And always, please keep updated with us here at the IGN Pro League, at IGN Pro League or IGN.com/IPL. So, Summoners, thank you again. Thank you for joining us today for our first episode of Killing Spree. And from all of us here from the IGN Pro League, this is IPL Killing Spree, and we will see you next time.